I really had to refine things, and I had to look at the things that I was currently doing and be like, how could I go bigger? Because you can go bigger. The reason why you're at the income ceiling is because you think you can't go bigger, but you can.
You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, and today I have a juicy little Instagram live that I did that I just needed to share with my podcast fam. So today's Instagram live is about doubling your income by shifting your beliefs and your current identity to hit that next level, to really step into that next level version of you, whether that's to make 3K a month, 5K, 10K, whatever it is that is coming into your awareness and actually being that person and what that fucking looks like, including shifting out of those feelings of not being good enough, including transcending the imposter syndrome identity, because you know that there is a fucking version of you on the other side who has the money that you want, who has the success that you want, and she's so close you can fucking taste it. But there are some things that we need to do in terms of shifting your beliefs and your current identity, and that's what this live is going to help you do. And I want to extend an invitation to you to the From Imposter to Empowered program if you are a coach or service provider who is making between like 0K a month to about 3K a month, and you're fucking done with it. You want to step into 5K fucking bare minimum income months, and you want to stop feeling like a fraud when you show up. You want to stop looking at what everybody else is doing and feeling inferior every time you see somebody else's post, every time you see somebody else's stories. You want to get in the room and be coached, but you also are like, how the fuck do I grow to 5K months, to 10K months? In the From Imposter to Empowered program, we have the simplified strategy, and the curriculum is broken down into mindset, manifestation, money, and energetics, and then business strategy. And it is the simplified way that you are going to step into that next level version of you, transcend imposter syndrome, stop feeling like a fucking fraud, and sell your offers confidently so you can get to those 5K months. Okay? This is the only program that you're going to need to get to 5K months, because we talk about the mindset and we talk about the strategy, and it's going to be so easy for you to implement. And other than the fucking amazing curriculum that you can dive into as soon as you join, we have monthly hot seat coaching calls, monthly content parties where you're going to be creating a month's worth of content in just 1 hour. And we also have subconscious reprogramming resources, because of course we do, because I am your coach Jill. And there's hypnosis tracks, meditations, EFT tapping, a lot of emotional regulation tools that are going to help you regulate your nervous system so you can expand your capacity to receive more and more in your business. All right, there are so many amazing things inside of this program. I couldn't possibly tell you everything that is inside, but it is only $19.97 for 6 months, or 6 monthly payments of $333, which it is just insane, the amount of value, the amount of coaching and the support. Oh, and the Slack channel. You get a Slack channel where I will be coaching you and supporting you through the week. Okay, so it's just insane. You need to come and join us if this podcast is your holy grail. If you are like coming to this podcast every single week, you need to be inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program. I love you so much, and I hope you enjoy this Instagram live. Bye.
Hi friends, how are we? Okay, is this good? It looks a little crooked, but whatever. What the fuck ever. Okay. I have a client call in like half an hour. So in like exactly half an hour. So let's chat, because I had a really, really great podcast interview with Ashley, and that is on my Instagram story. She's amazing. She's from South Africa, and we did a great interview, and something that we talked about was transcending the imposter syndrome identity that you have of yourself to make 5 figures a month. And I was really thinking about this after our conversation, because I was walking Hugo. Hugo is my dog. And while I was walking him, I was thinking about our conversation. And I was thinking about the fact that, like, what I mean when I say you have to transcend your imposter identity in order to get to the success, to the money that you want, you really have to shed everything that you think you know about yourself, right? Like, I had a coach ask me once, like, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong about who you think that you are? What if you're wrong about what you believe about money? What if you're wrong about just what you think and believe about yourself? And that was one of those times that I was like, it's so interesting, because when you struggle with imposter syndrome and when you struggle with that feeling of not being good enough, it's so easy to fucking believe yourself. And that is something that I've had to coach clients on routinely and often, is to have them see themselves in their successful identity, and to have them realize that you just have these thoughts. It's just a dysfunctional thinking pattern. Like, it's not the truth. But we go through life and we run our businesses as if it's the truth. So we don't show up and say the thing that we want to say, or that is actually inside of us. We can't even like unlock that kind of thought leadership, because we are so consumed with, what if somebody thinks this about me? What if somebody doesn't like what I have to say? What if I repel people away? And I was talking about this on the podcast too, how when you're first starting out, it's really easy to be like in a scarcity kind of thinking, because you're like, I don't want people to be repelled by my content, even though you hear like everyone around you who has success say that you're going to repel people that aren't a good fit. You hear that and you're like, okay, but like, I'm not going to turn anybody away. Right? Like, you hear that and you immediately are like, I want to sign clients. Like, I'm not turning anybody away. Right? So you can have these thoughts, but what you need to realize is that they're not true. And like, when you actually start to uncover who you are and you start to do the work, you realize that like nobody can fucking hurt you. When you have that resilience, when you have that confidence, it's literally just words on a page, including your opinion. It's just words on a page. It's just you saying something, right? On the podcast, I also talked about like she asked me like, has there been a time where someone's called you out or something? And I was like, no. And then I'm like, wait, actually, yes. There was a time where I uploaded a post and it was all about like certifications and like how I don't think everybody in the online industry needs to be certified. That's the beauty of the coaching industry. Like, not everybody is certified and it's not regulated. And don't get me wrong, there are people that should have a fucking certification. I have a certification, but there are a lot of really amazing people who I've worked with and who I've seen in the space or who I've collaborated with that don't have a certification, and they're fucking amazing. So something that I didn't say too on the podcast was the fact that that is such a corporate way of looking at things, and like the gatekeeping of doing what you want to do and like making your own way in the world and like transcending what you think you were supposed to do with your life. You know, like a lot of us have parents and grandparents who have immigrated to different countries because of war, who grew up with like really negative and scarce circumstances, right? Me included. So with my parents being of parents that were literally living through wars and came to Canada to escape that, right? My parents like really were like, you need to work full time, have a pension, like that is success to them. And having to step away from that and be like, but what do I want for my life, and how do I get to be different? I think it's the same thing when it comes to certification and regulation, is to be able to step away from that and really ask yourself, like, what do I actually want in my life? And instead of being like, what is somebody telling me is okay? Because you writing content that is of your deepest truth, you showing up and showing who you are and selling your fucking offers confidently, that's just words on a page. And if something is holding you back from putting words on a page, you got to clean some shit up, right? And I was also talking about the fact that like she asked me like, what changed for you to create that kind of content? And I was like, I just realized that what I wanted was so much more important than like me being afraid of somebody having an opinion about me. I had to realize that the impact that I wanted to make was so much deeper than the fear that I had. And I had to realize that like, I have to be okay with being uncomfortable. As a person with a stutter, it is hard to be asked to be on podcasts and do Instagram lives and all that stuff, because like I know that it's uncomfortable for me sometimes to communicate, to purely communicate, right? But when I am a little bit uncomfortable, amazing things happen in the business. I sign clients, I make sales, I get stronger, I get more confident. People who are searching for somebody like me can find me, right? Like a lot of the things that people are doing that you see them doing and you don't realize, they are becoming uncomfortable a little bit every single day. They are pushing the envelope of their comfort zone every single fucking day and doing something that makes them a little bit uncomfortable. The really successful coaches in the online space have mastered emotional resilience, and they have mastered being a bit uncomfortable and just taking fucking action. And all the discomfort that comes with taking action, signing more clients defaulting on payments, or doing this or doing that. Like, there are a lot of uncomfortable parts about having your own business. And when you struggle with imposter syndrome, it is very easy to be like, I choose to be safe. I choose to be comfortable here in this comfort zone and not put yourself out there for the fear of being found out. But it's not even the fear of being found out. It's the fear of somebody saying something to you, someone criticizing you, and then you having thoughts that confirm that you're a fraud. You having confirming thoughts like, fuck, I knew that I wasn't good enough. I knew that this offer wasn't good enough, right? That's what happens. Is you are afraid to do the things because then you're afraid that you are going to have uncomfortable thoughts and feelings about yourself. And then how do you continue from that point? The host also asked me this too. She was like, if somebody was at like an income ceiling because of imposter syndrome, how would you help them? And I was like, you have to ask yourself, are you comfortable with being seen at this level? Because when you're making 10K a month, 15K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, you are seen at such a different level, right? Your clients are paying you a lot. You are exposed for the most part, right? And it's really common for clients to come to me because they're at an income ceiling and they're like, I don't know what it is, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can tell you exactly. It's imposter syndrome because you're afraid that if you go bigger, you'll be seen. And if you go bigger, that means that your life is going to change, that your business is going to change. You're going to be more susceptible to being found out and seen and exposed. And you're afraid that once that happens, you're not going to measure up. You're going to be exposed for not being as good as you say you are, or as capable as you say you are, or not getting your clients the results you say that you help them get. So transcending your imposter identity, it doesn't just happen at the beginning of your business. It happens at all different levels. And each time you overcome it, it looks like you looking at who you think you are and being like, what would I be doing if I didn't have this thought of like, maybe you're a fraud, maybe you're not good enough, right? What would you create? Who would you show up as every day? What would you say when you talk about your offers, right? A deeper level of your messaging and your content explodes when you do this work, because you realize nothing can hurt you because you are who you fucking say you are, and you are worthy and you are good enough. So in order to transcend your imposter syndrome identity, you have to see yourself as that higher self, because she's there. She already exists. In the quantum, she already exists. You are already her. She is already inside of you. And what would she look like if you didn't struggle with these feelings of, but if I go bigger, I'll be exposed. But if I go bigger, somebody will see that I'm not good enough, right? And that is what happens. I know for me, when I was starting to climb and I was like, okay, I'm at 15K and I want to get to 20K, like, what do I have to do? Who do I need to be? And I had this like realization that I was like, I'm going to be seen at such a bigger level. And that scared the fuck out of me. And I was like, okay, how do I work through this? Right? And it was about really seeing her and being like, okay, so when I coach clients, how am I showing up for them? When I create offers and curriculums and courses, like what quality of work do I see it at? When it comes to being more visible, like, am I doing Instagram lives? Am I doing workshops? So I really had to refine things, and I had to look at the things that I was currently doing and be like, how could I go bigger? Because you can go bigger. The reason why you're at the income ceiling is because you think you can't go bigger, but you can. You 100% can. So if you are thinking about where you're at, whether you're at 5K a month, whether you're at 0K or 3K or 10K or 15K, whatever you're at, can you look at what you're currently doing and ask yourself, if I didn't have this fear of going bigger or being seen or being exposed, if I thought that I got clients amazing results and that like at the end of the day, I am an expert and I know what I'm talking about, and like I have the capability to like really make a huge impact in the world, how would I be acting right now? What would I say about my offers? What client results would I be sharing and telling the story about, right? Would I be saying when I just show up and give generously? Okay? So I want you to think about that. You are not a fraud. It is just a dysfunctional way of thinking, and you can transcend it, and you will have to over and over and over again as you make more money. Because, here's the other thing I wanted to say. I wanted to say too, that like you are in this online industry, and a lot of you have personal relationships where people don't know what the fuck you're doing online. They have no fucking idea, and that's okay. You need to let that be okay. You need to let yourself have a different identity than in your personal life. It's okay, because this here online, it's not normal. It's not your normal, right? But it doesn't have to be. And you invest at a different level. You do things at a different level than your mom, your childhood friends, your work friends, whoever they are. you are doing something different. So if you are constantly being like, well, they don't have to do this and I feel like such an outsider, blah, 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 blah. It's the online industry. It's different. And if you want different results, if you want to make 5K a month, 10K a month, 15K a month, 20K a month, like doing this, you have to accept that like it's going to look different. And that's a fucking amazing thing. Like, it is amazing that we get to come online and say fucking words and work with the most amazing clients and do this amazing fucking work from our phones. It is unreal to me. It is such a fucking privilege, right? But along the way, people forget that it's like, it's a beautiful, beautiful privilege. And they think like, but I've been doing the work. I've been doing this, been doing that. Who you are will tell you what your fucking results are. Who you are being will be everything you need to know. Because the results that you have currently, they are a result of how you have been thinking and how you have been being. And that can be hard to hear sometimes. I know for me, when I was like experiencing income roller coasters and I was like, why aren't things working and blah, 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 blah. It's because of how I was being and how I was thinking. And I was like, I can't think like the version of me that was working full time for the fucking government while at the same time growing the business. I have to think like a coach who is in the online industry. I have to invest like a coach who is in the online industry, right? So be glad that you can have this different version of you in the online space. You get to have this expert, badass, amazing version of you. And you get to own it and you get to show up as her. Even if personal life you is kind of like, yeah, I like sit on the couch and I watch Netflix. I watch The Office 100 times over and over again. And I hang out with my dog and hang out with your husband on the weekends. And like, that's it. You can be whoever you want to be. But online, you get to choose who you are. And you get to let that make you so much fucking money. Okay? I love you guys so much. Mwah, mwah. I'll see you later.
Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to learn how you can work with me, where you can buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and how to get on my email list for free. Screenshot this episode and add it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at Your Coach Jill. See you next time.